Hello, Leah here from Blissful Being, and this short video is all about our Easy Air Respiratory Blend. So this one is known as Breathe in the US. So if you get confused and see the word breathe and think, but that's not the one I've got, they're exactly the same. It's just a labeling law as the product was coming into the country. Perhaps that name was already taken or something like that, so they had to change it to Easy Air. So just rest assured that that's the same. And a lot of the images, you know, when I'm making graphics, a lot of the images with the name on the bottle says breathe, so I kind of have to use that, but just rest assured it's exactly the same. So Easy Air is our respiratory blend. It is fantastic for clearing the airways. It works so incredibly well. I feel like I need a little bit because I've been talking so much. My voice starts to go when I do a lot of talks in classes. So that's one way that I use it, and you can probably hear the clearness in my voice straight away. I can hear that. I can feel it. It really opens up the airways amazingly well. So that's one way that I use it a lot. I just put a drop in the palm of my hand and breathe it in like so. And I've done that recently when I had one of those really tickly coughs. So you know when you get that cough, always at night time, always just as you're falling to sleep, and you just, it feels like every time you breathe, it makes you cough, and then you cough and you cough. So I did that exact same thing, a drop or two in the palm of my hand, and I just lied under the bed sheets and took long, slow, very deep breaths, and I could just feel it opening up my airways, and it just stopped the coughing. It was the only thing that stopped the coughing. Before that, I was trying the immune boosting syrup blend that will be posted on the On Guard day, which is day 10. So you probably haven't got that yet, but I was trying that just to try and soothe my throat with the honey, coconut and essential oil mixture. Wasn't working. I was still coughing, and that was the only thing that stopped. Under the covers, just taking big, deep, slow breaths and really letting that oil work its magic through my windpipes. So it's fantastic for coughing, and especially tickly coughs and coughing fits. And if you're a small child, if that's a bit too much for a child to do, you can just pop it in the diffuser. So the diffuser is one of my favorite ways to use this blend. A few drops, 3 to 5 drops in the diffuser in the bedroom is fantastic for helping to open up the airways, unblock the nose in particular. So that's the other thing that's super annoying when you're unwell and you've got a blocked nose and you can't sleep because your nose is blocked. Especially for kids, they can't sleep and they're irritable because they can't breathe properly. And what do we need to get better? We need sleep. So that can be a bit of a cycle. So this one in the diffuser really clears the nasal passages as well and opens them up, unblocks the nose really, really, really well. Seriously, can't express that enough. It just clears it. I don't have those sleepless nights anymore where I can't breathe through my nose. So diffusing is beautiful, as I mentioned, for this oil, and it's probably the most popular way to use it in the diffuser over night time. And I actually generally pair it with On Guard, the immune protective blend, which you'll learn about in a couple of days. So those two together, clearing the airways and then supporting the immunity at the same time, is going to fast track you back to health. And make it a whole lot less uncomfortable with the clearing of the airways. Otherwise, a great way to use this one is mixing it just with some regular coconut oil and making up a little Vicks replacement rub. So Vicks, as we now know, has a lot of petrochemicals and nasty ingredients in it, which is unfortunate because who hasn't used Vicks? But anyway, we can live and learn from, you know, not necessarily our mistakes, but you learn from experience and from life. And now we can make our own and ditch the Vicks and make our own completely chemical free. So we're not going to compromise anything else in the meantime. So just mix it with a bit of coconut oil and rub it on your chest and on the back of your sort of behind the back of your lungs, and that for children as well is fantastic. You can massage into the feet of little ones. If you just Google reflexology points on the feet, they'll come up with the parts that are great for the lungs, which is the pads of the toes, I'm pretty sure. The pads of the toes, so you can massage it into those areas to help invigorate the lungs. So topically and aromatically is the most popular way to use this one. It is quite self-explanatory, really. Those two ways, opening up the airways, fantastic for coughing, fantastic for anything airways, pretty much. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed that, and I will briefly read to you the emotional attachment as usual. And this one's a goodie because, and I actually hope that this is what they're going to talk about, did you know that often when you have coughing fits or are really congested in the chest, it can often be related to your emotions. So the emotions that we hold for grief and sadness is often held and built up in the lung area. So you'll probably notice, if something happens in your life, you'll end up with a coughing fit, or you'll end up with, really a lot of congestion and sniffly nose and all those kinds of things, because that's where we hold a lot of our grief and our sadness. So I'm hoping that's what they talk about here and that they back me up on that. But that's something that I learned a little while ago, actually from my beautiful friend Jenna. Hi, Jen, if you're watching. She taught me that. And so often using these beautiful respiratory blends for opening up the airways can help to address those issues. So, respiratory blend, the oil of breath. The respiratory blend addresses the inability to let go of grief. Oh, good, we'll talk about that too. Grief and pain. The individual in need of respiratory blend struggles to breathe and literally feels suffocated by sadness. So that's when you get that tightness and people will often feel like they're having an asthma attack when they're suffering from something really bad or sad that's happening to them. The lungs and air passages become constricted, preventing air and emotion from releasing. The root of this condition is feeling unloved. The individual grieves the love that they never received. They often shut down due to fear, not knowing whether the love they need will be there. They distrust whether it's safe to open and take in life. Respiratory blend encourages individuals to release grief and sadness and to receive genuine love and healing. The respiratory blend also supports individuals' relationships with spirit and deepens one's connection to life. It invites individuals to let go, breathe out, and receive, breathe in. In this way, this blend teaches individuals to embrace life through breath. Respiratory blend imbues individuals with the courage to open fully. That's pretty awesome. So I hope that you've enjoyed this information on our Easy Air blend, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of today's posts. Thanks.